Hello and welcome back to the Unemployed Movie Critic YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me again. So, not only am I a fan of movies, but I also am a huge fan of Calico critters. So people started gifting me Calico critters and I just became a collector and a lover ever since then. And as you can see, I do have the special burger stand Calico critter set where when you put it together, it's a burger and the little cheese becomes a table. The tomatoes become chairs. And as you can see, the bun will go down. And our little burger stand employee is working there, working very hard. And as you also can see, all of the burgers have little animal ears on them, which really adds to the whimsical nature. So today I would love to go over iconic movie characters and the kind of Calico critter that I think they would be. Starting off from the top, because I just watched it, Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko would obviously be a black bunny rabbit or a gray bunny rabbit, the one with the big long ears, because he is obviously Frank the Bunny Rabbit appears in the film. If you haven't seen it. Also, Donnie Darko is just a little emo boy who annoys me, frankly. I don't really understand why people are obsessed with that movie because I thought Donnie Darko was a lame little emo boy who really thought he was smarter than everybody, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Now, on to my next character, Elle Woods, one of my favorite movie characters of all time from Legally Blonde. Now, if you haven't seen Legally Blonde, Elle famously has a little chihuahua named Bruiser, who she takes with her most places, and that is her trusted companion. So, while doing research into my critters, I found Carmen Lopez Chihuahua Calico critter. Elle Woods would be Carmen Lopez, except Elle Woods would be wearing a pink outfit, not the little frilly outfit that Miss Lopez is wearing. But I also wanted to give an honorable mention to the Elle Woods elephant family, which is the last name of the elephant family in Calico critter lore. So I thought that was very interesting. But like the Chihuahua, Elle is small. She's, I would say, fashionable as well. I think Chihuahuas bring to mind like little purse dogs of the early 2000s. And, you know, although she may be outwardly very small and cute and delicate, she is a fierce person, much like the Chihuahua is in real life. Next up, we have Nosferatu and Ellen from Nosferatu. Nosferatu would be the mole Calico critter, and Ellen would be the otter, but of the Van Dyke otter family. Now, there's a couple different otter varieties. The Calico critter heads out there would know what I mean. And a lot of the otters, like modern otters, are more rounded. But I came across the Van Dyke otter family, and they have really long little necks and these like narrow faces. And this is just more based off physical appearance than personality. So I feel like Lily Rose Depp has these like really pointed features. She looks very like hollow. She looks like a Tim Burton character, and I don't mean that as an insult. I think she's very unique beauty, and I think she's, you know, really interesting. So to me, she has that long neck pointed features, much like the Van Dyke otters do. Now, Nosferatu being the mole, this is just obvious because I think the mole Calico critters are kind of dusty looking and they are mysterious. So I was heavily thinking about making Nosferatu the hedgehog Calico critter because the hedgehog looks like it's wearing a big fur coat, and Nosferatu wears a big fur coat, as we know. But I decided against it. Shout out to the hedgehog Calico critter because that doesn't make an appearance in this list, but I do like them and I would love to own them one day. But also, they're not as scary as the like mole, in my opinion. The mole is like has a creepy factor to it, and other older calicos have this creepy nature to them, which you will see. Next up, we have Barbie and Ken. Barbie of Barbie, I think she's a silk cat calico. There's a lot of different cat varieties in calico critter fandom, but I like the silk cat variety. Barbie seems sleek and perfect, right? So I just feel like that matches her nature. She is very cat-like in appearance, if that makes sense. I think some women are just cats in my mind. I know that doesn't make any sense, but to me, some women are cats and she is cat. And she's also just like, she's not that exotic. She's a classic, right? Classic Americana, much like a cat would be. Now, Ken, you may be thinking to yourself, obviously, Ken's going to be the golden retriever calico because of his personality, but that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. Ken is going to be the honey bear calico, of which I own. Look-wise, the honey bear is similar to a golden retriever. It has these soft, rounded features. It's very sweet looking. It's very kind looking. And I think that is what Ken is. But also bears seem a little dumb. No. Golden retrievers are a tad dumb as well, but they do know how to be retrieving. So that's why in my mind, Ken is the honey bear. And there's nothing wrong with that because I love bears. Bears are my favorite animal. Next up, we have Patrick Bateman. Now, the creepiest calico critter that I think exists is the meerkat calico critter. They look like they have not slept in several years of their lives and they just saw a tragedy befall them. Now, to me, Patrick Bateman is the meerkat calico because he has nothing behind the eyes, right? Patrick Bateman, he's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. He has no remorse. He loves harming people and he finds other people to be disgusting. And when you look into the meerkat calico's eyes, you know that's exactly what he's feeling as well. And you cannot tell me I'm wrong. Next up, I thought I'd change it up and I'd like to do Thomas Wake of The Lighthouse, which is Willem Dafoe's character in The Lighthouse. Now, to me, Willem Dafoe, I do find Willem Dafoe strangely handsome. He's enchanting. And I felt the same way when I came across these calico critters, the hazelnut dormouse calico. Okay, they are from the hazelnut family. I don't know if they're called hazelnut in lore, like their species, but that's his last name. And the dormouse, they have these unique facial features, and they're a bit old school. They are definitely not the kind of mouse that's in circulation today. As you can see from my collection, the popular mouse that's in circulation today is going to be the Milky Mouse. That I know. I do know the names of some of the calico creatures. So, to me, Willem Dafoe, again, this is just based on not really so much even his character, but he's just an old school kind of guy. He's a classic and he's a unique, spin on a classic, I would say. So that is why he's the dormouse to me. And I love that about him. Now, Django of Django Unchained, one of my favorite characters and favorite movies. He's going to be the kangaroo. Now, let me explain my explanation. I did not want Django to be a black or brown calico because I felt that would be racist. And me saying that is not racist. I am mixed. You cannot come after me because my dad is black and I am mixed. So to me, Django, he's a fighter, right? And he has this westernness, obviously, to him. The kangaroo, to me, seems Western, does it not? The kangaroo, I can envision wearing a hat similar to Django and an outfit and a get-up similar to Django. He has a fighting spirit like the kangaroo. Kangaroos, as we know, love to fight people. They love to punch, and they're scary and strong. So I feel like if we had ever encountered a kangaroo in the wild and we could speak to it, it would speak much like Django would, and he would have a vengeance. I know he would have a vengeance. Now, I was considering making Django a cat, right? So to me, the calico critters, they have a Western connotation because a lot of TikToks have been made. Brokeback Mountain, right? Where they have the characters from Brokeback Mountain as the two calico critters in these little Western outfits. So to me, the calico critters just lean Western, but I didn't think that made any sense, so I didn't say that. Now, changing it up again, Anton Chigurh, Javier Bardem's character in No Country for Old Men, another one of my favorite movies, slapper, absolute slap of a movie. He's going to be the beaver calico critter. So similarly, he has this mysteriousness to him. I felt the beaver was a bit mysterious as well. How many of us truly own a beaver calico critter is what I'm saying. You don't know where he came from, you don't know where he's going, and you don't know what he's thinking. Now, he's not as scary as some of the other calicos on this list. To be honest, the beaver is not quite as alarming, but under the right circumstances, he could seem threatening. He also, because Javier Bardem has that fuck ass bob, you know, everybody talks about the fuck ass bob, because the beaver doesn't have big long ears, he gives me a bob kind of vibe as well. I hope that makes sense. Joker. I don't know if this is going to make sense to others, but it makes sense to me. Joker of Joker is going to be the turtle calico critter, because not only does he have green hair, much like our character does, Arthur Fleck, but he also is strange and elusive. You know, again, how many of us have encountered a turtle calico in real life or own a turtle calico? I feel like it's a bit more on the rare side. And it has these, their eyes are a little bit different because it's like an older version of the calico. The eyes used to be a little bit more creepy, but at the same time, I feel bad for the turtle. He seems like a sympathetic character that I would want to take care of. And that is also how I feel about our character in Joker as well. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. Moving on, we have Longlegs. So Longlegs of the movie Longlegs. I didn't know that was his name till I looked it up. But I'm going to say he is the white bunny rabbit calico critter, like the classic, but with the ears cut off. I don't know if you've ever seen the woman who does calico critter soap operas, basically, where she puts them in different outfits and has them do different scenes and with different props. So I feel like that earless bunny is an iconic character of her calico critter lore, and I feel like Longlegs is him, because Longlegs, he's not right, obviously, you know. Yes, he is possessed by a demon, sure, but also he's unwell. He's a figure that has gone through something evil, and for that reason he is earless bunny calico. Now, Amy Dunn of Gone Girl. Amy Dunn of Gone Girl is going to be the woman Yellow Lab Calico. I say this because Yellow Labs, they are like a classic American dog. I hope that makes sense. They're like a classic white suburban family dog that they would own. You know, the golden retriever is loyal. It represents all that America would love to be, much like Amy Dunn. Now, Amy represents outwardly this perfect American woman, all-American woman who's beautiful, who's loyal, who loves her husband, who's funny and exciting, and yet she harbors a secret. So again, this is a little bit more based on appearances, I guess, because we know Amy, she ain't right, but I feel like perhaps maybe if the eyes of the golden lab calico were replaced with scarier eyes, it would represent Amy more, and that is exactly who she is, I feel. Bella Swan and Edward Cullen of obviously Twilight. Bella Swan is going to be the special moss reindeer calico. There's different varieties of reindeer calicos. I would love to own one day. I would love to own the Christmas set. But Bella, she is the moss reindeer. She has like this elegance to her, I guess I would say. You know, she does seem very woodsy as well. Twilight is a very woodsy movie, as I'm sure you know from watching the movie. I could see Kristen Stewart like being a deer of some kind, or like wandering around the forest to me. And also I feel like Bella has these like doe-like eyes in a way, where I think she just looks like a very natural kind of person, if that makes sense. Edward's going to be the badger calico. I really struggled to pick a calico for Edward, but I feel like the badger is the right choice. The badger, he's black and white, and he has these harsh lines across his eyes, right, where he looks a little bit more intense, and I think that's what Edward gives us. He's got that stark whiteness, the badger does, and so does Edward. As we know, he glows in the sun, he shines, he sparkles. Now listen, there's not like a bat calico. I didn't want to do a cat calico because it seemed cheap to me. It seemed wrong. It seemed obvious. And so I did want to pick something a little bit different. If ever there were to be an animal that was vampiric, a badger would be on the list. No, right behind bats and, you know, some other more scary Halloween-y type creatures. So for that reason, I chose Edward to be the badger. Theodore from Her. Just wanted to mention her because it's one of my favorite movies. Such a beautiful, beautiful film. So if you've never seen Her, Joaquin Phoenix plays Theodore, who falls in love with kind of like an AI, and it's a very touching story about what it means to love somebody. Theodore's look, he's wearing these kind of millennial glasses with the millennial mustache now. And let me just say, Joaquin Phoenix and her absolutely would 100% any day. I don't know why, but I love that the glasses and mustache combo is appealing to me. And for that reason, he is going to be the millennial dad goat Calico Critter. Has these glasses and this outfit that just scream to me Theodore millennial, right? He's also, I get the vibe that the millennial goat dad, he's really into technology and really into phones and gaming, and I just know that's exactly right up Theodore's alley. Next up, we have Danny from Midsommar. Danny from Midsommar is going to be the lamb Calico, okay? So again, the lamb Calico, she's cute. She has like a little floral kind of motif going on about her. She's got some versions of the lamb have little like floral clips in their fur. And I think that represents Danny, obviously because she's the May Queen. She has the iconic Danny from Midsommar outfit where she's covered in the flowers. And, lambs have connotations with sacrifices and nature and innocence and purity. And so that's why Danny is the lamb. Paul Madweeb Atreides, Lisan al-Gaib. Now, you're going to say, Maya, why is he not a mouse? I'm going to tell you right now, he's not a mouse. He's going to be a hamster. Similar. Okay. So Paul Madweeb, as we learn in the Dune story, if you've read the books, you probably already know. Madweeb is like this little mouse that runs around in the desert. And Paul decides to add that moniker to his name. The hamster is similar to the mouse, but I didn't want to overkill it with the mice. And there wasn't quite one mouse that I thought fit Timothée Chalamet's look. So I did go with the hamster. The hamster, he's a rodent. He has a sweetness to him, but unlike traditional mice, he's, a little bit different, as Paul is different from the people around him as well. He is the chosen one. We have the Big Lebowski. He's going to be the truffle wild boar. I really wanted to include the truffle wild boar in here somewhere, and the only character that made sense to me was going to be the Big Lebowski. He's got a big personality. He lights up every room that he goes into. He's unique, and he does his own thing. He goes on an adventure of his own making. Next up, we have Don Corleone. I don't know if this is going to make sense to you, but Don Corleone is going to be the chocolate Dalmatian Calico. So, again, Marlon Brando, he has this look to him, right? He has kind of a jowly look. The Dalmatian Calico has a bit of a jowly look to it as well. And I didn't want to reuse, a lot of the more common dogs, calicos. I wanted to do something a little different. Also, the Chocolate Lab Calico, he seems like a businessman. He's dressed very well, and he's a man about his business, much like Don is. All right, we're coming to the end of our list. So now I have, a couple famous characters, very beloved characters. So we have Samwise and Gandalf. Samwise is going to be the pig Calico Critter, and Gandalf is going to be the elephant Calico Critter. So let me explain. The elephant in life is wise. They're a wise, beautiful beast. They're graceful and they're powerful, much like Gandalf is, especially Gandalf the Grey, right? Gray elephant. Okay. Now, Samwise being a pig, there's nothing, I'm not meaning this in any offensive way at all whatsoever, but he has a friendly pig-like nature to him. He is sweet. He's wise. Samwise. He cares for his friends, and I feel like looking at the pig Calico Critter, he looks like your neighbor, right? He looks like somebody you could trust, and that's somebody who would be looking out for you, would watch your back, but would also, like, if somebody was trying to break into your house or steal a package, he would be willing to fight. And that's how I feel about Samwise as well. And finishing off our list are going to be two more iconic characters, Darth Vader and Princess Leia. Darth Vader is going to be the midnight black cat, and Princess Leia is going to be the polar bear Calico. Again, the polar bear I just really wanted to assign to somebody, and it made sense to me to be Princess Leia. The polar bear, it's quickly become one of my favorites. I would love to own the polar bear one day. It's very soft and elegant looking. And unlike polar bears in real life, this polar bear looks quite sweet and intelligent, much like Leia is. And, you know, you could also make the case Leia is strong like the polar bear is, but she's not violent. So I wouldn't quite, you know, I wouldn't put her in the realm of real polar bears. And Darth Vader being the Midnight Black Cat, he just looks like the Midnight Black Cat with the mask on, right? And the Midnight Black Cat is he's a classic Calico. Darth Vader is a classic character. He will go down in history. Generations will talk about him forever. So I hope this list entertained you. I love calico critters. I love cute little figurines of any kind and miniatures of any kind, and I love films. So thank you very much for joining me on this video. It was a shorter one, but I hope you had a good time. Follow me on TikTok, Dingus McClingus on TikTok, or at Madam Adam Driver. And I am on Letterboxd, Boober Bear on Letterboxd. Thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe and comment. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about this video and calico critters in general. And thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. Bye.